Chapter 81. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That's awesome. Hamura's totally awesome. And so is Nanami-chan. You guys work so well together. Shizuka exclaimed, clapping for them. Nanami snapped out of her acting mode, blushing at Shizuka's praise. Figures. I thought I could finally trip you up. Lily grumbled, annoyed that she couldn't seem to get under his skin. Nangong Yan raised an eyebrow. You enjoy messing with me that much? Lily nodded emphatically. Of course. It's because you're such a know-it-all. Like nothing can stop you. Nangong Yan countered, hey, I'm not a know-it-all. Besides ACGN and cooking, there are plenty of things that would stump me. Isn't that already being a know-it-all? Lily asked, turning to Kasumigakaka Shiyu for backup. Some people are just born with it, I guess. Maybe Yan's one of them. Kasumigakaka Shiyu conceded. Mashiro tilted her head, looking confused. Yan's like, an otaku master. What the heck is an otaku master? Nangong Yan spluttered. Isn't that right? Mashiro asked innocently. I guess so. Nangong Yan stammered, it just doesn't sound good. Otaku Grandmaster would be way better. He thought smugly. Big brother. You gotta let me join next time. I can totally help. Sajiri piped up, eager to be included. Nangong Yan patted Sajiri's head. Then you need to learn more from your sisters and your mom. Sajiri nodded, snuggling closer to Shizuka. Mom, can you teach me more about drawing? Shizuka was thrilled. She hugged Sajiri tightly. Of course, sweetie. Mom will teach you everything she knows. Then, she whispered in Sajiri's ear, but you have to work hard too, okay? In every way. Sajiri hid her face, mortified. She felt like she could disappear. So, have you thought about the game's music yet? Kato Megumi asked, steering the conversation back to Nangong Yan's next project. Is Yenkun doing that too? Seriously? Hui looked at him suspiciously. Nangong Yan sheepishly scratched his head. Busted. Everyone just stared at him. At this point, anything's possible with you, Hui admitted, shaking her head. Lily's right, I'm actually hoping you'll get stumped someday. Even Megumi's on board. People who want to see me fail are forming a coalition. That's the spirit, Hui. Let's brainstorm how we can throw him for a loop. Lily said, clapping her hands. Kato Megumi pondered seriously. Maybe, you don't know how to sew clothes. Lily's face fell. That was fast. Nangong Yan shrugged. I really don't. It's not exactly essential for otaku culture. What about cosplay? Shiyu interjected suddenly. Nangong Yan was caught off guard. Cosplay? Sure, I can do that. Shiyu shook her head. I mean, making the costumes. Isn't that part of otaku culture? That's what I meant, Flame-kun, Kato Megumi added. Nangong Yan was speechless. Is that even fair? What about sculpting? You can make figures. Lily grinned. Hee, but you can't deny that it's all related to ACGN, right? Even if it's a derivative. Nangong Yan sighed. Okay. I got ahead of myself. I'll try to be more humble. The girls nodded in approval. They'd all ganged up on him on purpose, worried he was getting too cocky. Nangong Yan also rethought his position. He didn't have unlimited skills. He was getting arrogant. Anyway, the music's definitely on. Let's hit the recording studio tomorrow. After his moment of reflection, Nangong Yan looked at the girls. You're serious? Lily asked, needing to confirm. You'll see, Nangong Yan said mysteriously. Nangong Yan turned to Ida Ayano. Ayano, why are you being so quiet? This is your thing. I'm just here to listen. Ayano said with a smile. But I am sure about one thing. She paused, Building anticipation, Nangong Yan asked, "What's that?" That she said wistfully, "From the start with monthly girls, to your pen name, everything you've done is a hit." "Miss Ayano, there's one thing you got wrong," Shiyu corrected. "It should be his name that was a hit from the start." That this was a point no one in the Different Dimension Club would concede. Ayano glanced at Nangong Yan. He nodded. "Your name came first, then the other comics." "Did you forget that I drew it, Ayano?" "The comics were created to make money for the movie." "Oh, right. I forgot about the movie money," Ayano exclaimed, snapping her fingers. "Speaking of which, you must have something specific you want from me this time, right?" Nangong Yan asked. Ayano smiled. "Can't I just come hang out?" "So, you just came to chill?" "No, I came to sign a contract." Nangong Yan blinked. "So, it's not just a social call?" Nangong Yan asked the question on his mind. "What did your editor-in-chief say?" "Bi-weekly." Ayano stated bluntly. "They want it in the weekly, every other issue." Nangong Yan nodded. "I can work with that. No problem for me. Sign me up." Nangong Yan said enthusiastically. He didn't even bother reading the contract this time, trusting Ayano and knowing that Mankey Bookstore wouldn't dare try to scam him. "Hamura, how much do you think the weekly sales have increased since you started?" Ayano asked. Nangong Yan guessed. "It hasn't doubled, has it?" "Not yet, but soon," Ayano said, looking at him. "It's up 80% now, but it's slowing down." That perked his interest a little. "How much do you expect it to increase in total?" Ayano checked her phone. "We expect it to top out at 190%. That's pretty good. Seems like the reward for this mission should be nice. Monthly Girls is a huge hit right now. People are going wild online," Ayano said, clearly pleased. "Everyone's already clamoring for an anime adaptation." "Already wanting an anime?" Nangong Yan asked. "Does Mankey Bookstore have plans for that?" Suddenly, all eyes were on them. Chapter 82. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'd be lying if I said no. Ayano shrugged. "But I still have a few more issues of the weekly to put out, right?" "Yeah, if the anime catches up to the manga, it'll be huge for sales." Ayano didn't say it, but they understood. They needed to get readers hooked first. "Is the Promised Neverland up next?" Nangong Yan tried to pry for more info. Ayano just nodded. "What about this one?" Nangong Yan waved the contract. "This?" Ayano took it. "Let's see what name you put down, Love Live." The name didn't quite click. Or, more accurately, Muse wasn't really a thing yet. Still, she didn't hesitate. "Love Live? That'll probably be next month." Nangong Yan got it. Later was better. They had to pace things according to real-world progress. "All right. Mission accomplished. Gotta run. I'll be back on the weekend to drag you out for research." Ayano waved and left. Nangong Yan just shook his head at her cocky exit. The next day, after school, the Toyozaki 4 and the Suigao 2 met up and headed to a recording studio. After paying the fee, they went inside. Nangong Yan's goal was simply to prove he could handle the game's music this time, not to actually record anything yet. He picked up a guitar and did a quick solo. The girls were already impressed, waiting for his next move. Nangong Yan cleared his throat, and under their eager stares. "The king told me to patrol the mountain." Everyone froze. Then Nangong Yan burst out laughing. "Just kidding," Iriri said. "That was something. But you're not seriously thinking of putting that on the soundtrack, are you?" Nangong Yan shook his head fast. "No way. Just messing with you." "Was it funny?" "Not funny," Iriri snapped. "Can you try to be serious for once?" "Ahem." Nangong Yan cleared his throat. "Give me a sec to get a feel for the instruments." Nangong Yan pulled up the system skills page. He wanted to test his theory, so he decided to try the bass. He picked it up and started experimenting with the tone and sound. To the others, it just kept sounding better and smoother. Nangong Yan checked his new LV5 bass skill and nodded in satisfaction. Experiment over. Time to get serious. Nangong Yan grabbed the guitar again. When the song ended, Iriri and Shiyu looked stunned, while Megumi and Mashiro had a more subdued reaction, but their eyes were shining. Only Chihai was visibly excited. That was amazing, Lord Yan. What's the name of that song? Nangong Yan looked a little wistful. It's called Past Lives. I've never heard it before. Is it new? Shiyu asked, thrown off balance. Nangong Yan scratched his head. Yeah, sure, it's new. Just say everything comes from your head if they ask again, right? Iriri thought, knowing it was pointless to press him. What a freak. Iriri sighed. But at least the game music is covered. The others nodded in agreement. It was better to leave it to him. No other singers could pull it off like Yan could. Nangong Yan had no idea he was already gaining a small fanbase. Time marched on to Saturday. It was another release day for Mankey Weekly, and Nangong Yan and his crew were back at Mankey Bookstore near their homes. Yang was nestled in Kato Megumi's arms this time, and the group was a little different than before. Sajiri, the little loli, had joined them. She was currently hiding behind Nangong Yan, clutching his shirt. Sajiri, this is a long-awaited outing for you, isn't it? How do you feel? Nangong Yan felt her tugging. It's okay. My brother's here, so it's okay. She said, almost like she was hyping herself up. Nangong Yan sensed her unease. It's all right. I'm here, and everyone else is too. I'll protect you, promise. Try to observe everything around you. The environment, the people. It can all be material for your art. But don't push yourself. Take it slow. Nangong Yan awkwardly patted Sajiri's head. Okay, Sajiri said softly. She cautiously peeked around, but the crowds made her quickly look away. Then she'd peek again. The girls found it amusing. This Sajiri was completely different from the perverted Uncle Sajiri. Since Sajiri was finally leaving her room, they were bound to become her models, so everyone knew about Sajiri's, interests. Iriri, having been a model herself, had resigned herself to it, and the two often ended up drawing each other. Shiyu didn't say much. She didn't exactly agree to let Sajiri draw her, but she didn't object either. Mashiro and Iriri were similar. You draw me, I draw you. Sometimes Sajiri couldn't handle Mashiro's naturalness, because Mashiro wasn't shy at all. Sajiri wasn't even interested in drawing her. Megumi didn't mind being drawn, but Sajiri felt pressured by Megumi's intense stare during the process. Plus, Megumi's expressions were hard to read, making her another difficult subject. The one Sajiri was most interested in was Nanami, because Nanami got shy the easiest, and her reactions were the most fun. But Nanami was also the most defensive. Sajiri wanted to draw her the most, but Nanami never let it happen. Flame Lord. Look, there are so many people in line this time. Chihai shouted excitedly, even happier than Nangong Yan himself. I see, Nangong Yan said, pulling Chihai back before she bounced off somewhere. Chihai, thanks for being so happy for me. Nanami completely spaced out. One thought kept repeating in her head, Yenkuin took my hand. Yenkuin took my hand. Iriri grabbed Nanami's hand and pulled her away from the group. Nanami. Let's walk around the crowd and see what everyone's saying. Chihai secretly regretted that she only got to hold Lord Yan's hand for a second, but Chihai, being the pure soul she was, didn't complain, but cheerfully said, okay. Let's go. Then she pulled Iriri towards the crowd. Chapter 83. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Nanami's bright smile, Iriri suddenly felt a pang of guilt. Was she really right to be doing this to Nanami? Iriri shook her head, thinking, a girl like Nanami is just too adorable. If I weren't a girl, I'd totally have a crush on her, right? Why was she suddenly painting everything with rose-colored glasses? She shook her head again. Still, even if I'm not into that, Nanami's still my friend. And I really like her, who could hate Nanami? It's practically impossible, right? Deciding not to overthink it, Erori suggested they just focus on gathering information together. Meanwhile, Nangong Yan looked at his palm, then shook his head with a wry smile. He really hadn't had any ulterior motives. He'd just seen Nanami getting excited and pulled her along. He hadn't expected Erori to react so strongly. It was like Erori and Shiyu had a clear division of labor. Erori closely monitored any girls around Nangong Yan, and the moment he interacted with one, Shiyu would swoop in with subtle questions to gather intel. With those two working together, Nangong Yan's harem route was looking like a long shot. His phone rang. The king asked me to patrol the mountain. Nangong Yan saw it was Saori. What's up, Saori? He asked. Oh, Yan. Judging by the background noise, you're out, too, huh? Nangong Yan was used to Saori's quirky way of talking. Yeah. I'm checking out the readers' reactions to the new comic release. Right. It's the day your new manga dropped. Saori remembered the two comics they were reading. I hope it's a huge hit. Thanks, Saori. Are you out somewhere? Nangong Yan heard the background noise on her end. Yup. I'm in line with the Kusaka and Black Cat squads. Saori sounded a little smug, probably happy for a friend of Nangong Yan's. Kuroneko and Kusaka. Kirino's here too. Nangong Yan felt a little awkward mentioning Kusaka Kirino because he remembered his classmate Takasaka Anoka. Wait, they both had the last name Takasaka. Could they be related? Could this really be some soap opera scenario? They might actually be related. He'd ask Anoka about it if he got the chance. That's right. The Kuroneko clan and the Kusaka crew have completely become Homura fans. Saori said happily, then seemed a little embarrassed. It was Kirino who said it would be awesome if Homura's comics were about magical girls or younger sisters. Typical Kirino, with her obsession with magical girls and her sister. Wait, Saori, what are you talking about? Kusaka Kirino's indignant voice reached Nangong Yan. Everyone already knows your perverted fantasies, so there's no point hiding them. That was Black Cat, delivering the final blow. Huh, sorry. Here's some reader feedback for you. I don't need any feedback. And Black Cat, you're one to talk, Miss Bestseller. Middle school syndrome. You actually said something completely mortifying. Listening to the commotion on the other end, Nangong Yan chuckled. Saori, tell her there will definitely be magical girls. And sisters, too, probably. Got it. Hey, Kusaka crew. Homura says there'll be both magical girls and younger sisters in the future. Huh? Really? When? Nangong Yan clearly heard Kirino's excited voice. He replied, the timing's uncertain. After all, I'm serializing 3 parts now, and I have other plans. Saori carefully repeated Nangong Yan's words. That's what Yan said. Oh, what a bummer. Kirino's enthusiasm deflated instantly. By the way, Yan. The 3 parts you mentioned. And what's the plan? Saori asked curiously. You'll find out about the 3rd part later. It's a secret. As for the rest, next week, right? You'll be able to see my other works by next weekend, at the latest. Bring those 2 along and give me some feedback afterward. Nangong Yan vaguely explained without giving anything away. Huh. Intriguing. Saori sounded a little pouty, but it was playful. Nangong Yan chuckled. The more you anticipate it, the bigger the surprise will be, right? Okay. Wow. Don't tell Yan, they're opening the doors. Gotta go. Nangong Yan heard the dial tone, shrugged, and put away his phone as the doors opened. Let's go in too. Nangong Yan clapped his hands. Eriri and Chihai had also returned, so everyone followed the crowd into the bookstore. They stopped a little ways from the door. Nangong Yan looked at Eriri and Chihai. So, did you guys hear anything? Eriri was excited. You bet. Mostly everyone's talking about monthly girls. The normal crowd is already pretty big, but look at the lines. Eriri pointed at the crowd. They're practically all here for you, Nangong-sensei. Nanami nodded eagerly in agreement. Flame Lord, look, Hui pointed out. The promotional poster is still for monthly girls. Does that mean Mankey Bookstore isn't optimistic about the promised Neverland? Before Nangong Yan could explain, Shiyu said, No, Hui, it's not that they don't like the promised Neverland. Hui, still a little naive, asked for advice. Shiyu-senpai, can you explain why? Shiyu held up a finger. Just one question, what are all these people here for today? That made it obvious. Everyone was here for monthly girls. To cater to the crowd, using monthly girls' promotional posters was the logical choice. Oh. I get it. Thanks, Shiyu-senpai. Hui thanked Shiyu. Shiyu slightly shook her head but said nothing. Flame Lord, let's go. Nanami was a little anxious. If we don't go now, it'll get even more crowded. Everyone saw that the crowd was still flooding into the store, and it was indeed getting more packed. Nangong Yan shook his head. We don't need to go in. We can just stay outside. It's too crowded inside. Even if people are eager to read the comics, they'll still come out eventually. Besides. Nangong Yan ruffled Sajiri's head. If you squeeze in there, Sajiri will definitely feel uncomfortable. Chapter 84. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sajiri was really touched. Her brother always looked out for her. She didn't say anything, just leaned her head against Nangong Yan's back. Nanami felt bad. I'm so sorry, Hamura, I totally spaced on Sajiri. Nangong Yan shook his head. It's okay, Nanami. You were trying to get reader feedback for me, right? That was true. If it wasn't for Nangong Yan, Nanami wouldn't have bothered listening to what others thought. So, you don't need to apologize. I should be thanking you. Nanami blushed, waving her hands, trying to stop him. Nanami, you're so cute, Mashiro blurted out. Nangong Yan mentally gave Mashiro a thumbs up. She's right. I wanted to say that too, star. Huh. What are you talking about? Cute or something? C. She just gets cuter the more you talk about it, star. Lily seemed to read his mind and just rolled her eyes, leaving Nangong Yan a little confused. Just then, they heard excited voices in the distance. Dude, we totally came to the right place. This month's Monthly Girls is hilarious. I almost lost it. Seo Yuzuki's a breakout character. Pfft. She's so annoying. Ha ha ha. I know, right? And Nozaki-kun's gender bending is gold. Mikashiba and Yuzuki are totally different genders in his manga. Speaking of which, does anyone act normal in that manga? What are you talking about? They're just less normal. That's what makes it so funny. Listening to them, Nangong Yan sighed. They're all pros. They finished reading it already? Heh, Lily chuckled. That's awesome. It means they really dig Monthly Girls. Yeah, it's going over super well, Hamura, Hui chimed in. That's what matters most. Hamura, I don't really get this manga, Mashiro said, tugging on his sleeve. Nangong Yan paused. Right, Mashiro doesn't really understand Monthly Girls. Why draw it like this? What's with the lines? What's it all supposed to mean? Besides not being great at laughing, she also couldn't laugh when she didn't understand the jokes. Seeing so many people cracking up at the comic deepened her confusion. Everything about this comic is great, except for one thing. Shiyu sighed, echoing Mashiro's thoughts. Nangong Yan nodded. Yeah, there's no deeper meaning. That's the point. It's just supposed to be funny, comics for the sake of laughter. So. Nangong Yan turned to Mashiro. It's okay if you don't get it. If you don't get it now, you will when you see more things. Mashiro, I really hope I get to see you laugh from the bottom of your heart someday. I can't wait for that day. The other girls felt the same way. As a gifted artist, Mashiro dedicated her whole life to her art. They wanted her to smile too, to experience all the things a teenage girl should. Mashiro didn't fully grasp what he meant, but she nodded silently, seeing the sincerity in his eyes. More comments drifted over. Have you guys read the later chapters of Monthly Girls? You mean, The Promised Neverland? I read it. It started out so sweet, but then bam. Totally unexpected. I thought it was gonna be all rainbows and sunshine, but it's a total downer. Even though it's depressing, I can't wait to see what happens next. What's Emma gonna do? Hey, has anyone noticed something else? What's that? The Promised Neverland is also by Nangong Sensei. Nangong, which Nangong Sensei? The same Nangong Sensei who does Monthly Girls. No way. Those are totally different genres. Seriously? Now I'm even more excited for it. Super hyped for Nangong Sensei. Ing Lily grinned, poking Nangong Yan in the side. Nangong Yan said, without missing a beat, then they're going to be very hyped in the future. Ing Lily was taken aback, then nodded, yeah, I'm totally confident in the stuff we make together. From now on, everyone in Different Dimension is going to be someone people look forward to. Nangong Yan wasn't just talking big, he knew he could deliver. The girls believed him. Actually, I think the name Different Dimension has already caught the eye of some people, Hui said unexpectedly. Nangong Yan knew they were bound to attract attention, but he was surprised that Hui, who wasn't really plugged into the industry, noticed. I've got some guesses, but I want to hear Kei's take, Shiyu said, intrigued. Hui nodded, looking at Ing Lily. Ing Lily probably gets it too, right? Ing Lily was quiet for a moment, then said, I figured it'd happen eventually, just not this fast. Hui, what do you think? Hui gave her thoughts. It started the first time Ayano-san came to Yenkuen's place. She pointed out that it wouldn't be hard for people in the industry to figure out Ing Lily's identity, so they probably know the comings and goings of other authors and artists, right? Nangong Yan wanted to applaud. Nailed it. Mashiro listened silently. Nanami and Sajiri looked surprised, like they were seeing her in a new light. Shiyu and Irie were as playful as always. It's right that the secret channel designated Kato Megumi as the top enemy. Megumi continued, Shiwa-senpai and Iriri have been working together for a while. That's already a big deal. Then Mashiro joins them. A world-class painter. Hui looked at Nangong Yan. 3 superstars all at once, and they're all hanging out at Yenkuen's place. Now that Yenkuen's got 2 successful series out, nobody can ignore him anymore. Under everyone's gaze, Hui finished, so now it's 4 big names. It's hard to imagine the impact of that little detail. I'm betting most people in the industry have already lost their minds, right? Nangong Yan looked at the silent group. What's wrong? We knew this was coming, didn't we? Why is it so heavy? Just then, Nangong Yan's phone rang. Chapter 85. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, brat, can I give out your number? You could tell from his tone it was Nangong Yan's dad. Nangong Yan retorted, I told you, Dad, just block the number. It's just these people are such a pain. Nangong Xiao sounded a little exasperated. You made one little move, and they're all over me asking about this and that. What if they found out about your plan? I'd be annoyed to death. Ha! You think this is funny? It's all your fault. Nangong Xiao was furious that his son was enjoying this. Who told you to give out your personal number to just anyone? Get a burner. Can't you have your people handle this? Nangong Yan suggested. Guess that's what I gotta do, but it's still annoying. It's your fault I'm even dealing with this. Nangong Shao grumbled, asterisk isn't cleaning up my son's messes my job, asterisk Nangong Yan thought to himself. Speaking of, I actually have something you can help me with. After you do, you'll be involved anyway. Nangong Yan rolled his eyes, asterisk I'm a genius, star. Explain, Nangong Shao said, sounding a bit put out. They really were two of a kind. We can handle the scripts, artwork, music, everything ourselves. But I don't have any voice actors other than the main characters. What do you think? Nangong Shao didn't immediately agree. Finish it first. Send it over, and I'll take a look. Nangong Yan sighed, okay, but you'll have to wait a few more days, then. That's it? You done? I'm outta here, asterisk huh. Why does he act like I called him, star, before he could say anything? His dad hung up. Nangong Yan was speechless. Always gotta get the last word and hang up first, like a kid. He said, shaking his head. Lily thought, you're not so different. When trouble hits, Dad always takes the heat, Nangong Yan said with an innocent shrug. Sure, you chuckled, you guys have a really unique relationship. Nangong Yan didn't hold back, it's better now. We used to barely talk. That was awkward. I just asked him about the voice acting. I'd love for us to do it all, but you guys probably don't want to do the dubbing, right? That everyone except Chihai immediately shook their heads. Even though Nangong Yan had complimented their voices and insisted the girls would be great, they still didn't want to do it themselves. Maybe they were nervous. Scared of messing up. Either way, they were out. They hoped to get advice from Nanami on dubbing voices in the future. After all, letting someone else dub a game that they poured their heart and soul into felt like giving up a child for adoption. Uncomfortable. All right. Let's wrap it up for today. Nangong Yan said, patting Sajiri's head. We're in the home stretch of the game. The results of all your hard work are about to be revealed. That made everyone even more motivated. Nangong Shao hung up the phone, a smile playing on his lips. He was actually in a pretty good mood. Ever since Nangong Yan hung up first, Nangong Shao wanted to tease Nangong Yan. By the way, you saw that kid's game last time, right? What did you think? Nangong Shao asked Jingxiang. Jingxiang spared no praise. Xiaoyan and his team's work is fantastic. The voice acting for Hamura and Nanami is incredible. Such an amazing experience. Nangong Shao scratched his head, a habit he'd picked up from Nangong Yan. Is the kid really that good? I heard he did most of the whole game. Shizuka nodded. Yes, Hamura worked on most of the programming and scripts, and I understand he did all the music by himself. The more I hear, the more of a freak he sounds. Nangong Shao said, then added with a sly grin, speaking of, what do you think of all the girls hanging around him? Jingxiang perked up. Let's see. They all seem pretty interested in Hamura. So who do you think he'll end up with? Shizuka stated matter-of-factly, I like them all. But I'm really hoping Shao Sajiri can pull ahead. Nangong Shao nodded. Yeah, he should just take them all. Then, Shizuka's voice echoed in my ears, what about you? Do you want this too? Suddenly, I broke out in cold sweat. At the same time, at Rouge and Rouge Society, the club's founder, Akane Kurosaka, was reading a report. Next to her was the latest issue of Mankey Weekly, open to a specific page. The eldest son of the Nangong family. Benisaka Akane seemed to be speaking to herself. Iori, she said, looking up at the young man in front of her, do you think we could get him to join the club? Hashima Iori smiled ruefully. Miss Benisaka, please stop joking. How could the eldest son of the Nangong family ever join a club like ours? Benisaka Akane was only asking hypothetically. She didn't really think Nangong Yan would join. Besides, isn't it true that Master Nangong has already formed his own club? Benisaka Akane seemed a little surprised. How did you hear about that? Is your source reliable? Hashima Iori explained, recently, Kasumi Shiko, the light novel author who works as a librarian for Mankey Weekly, and Miles Kashiwagi, the famous fan artist, have been seen spending time together. And they're always with Master Nangong, who took the industry by storm with his debut. Benisaka Akane realized. I see. Speaking of which, Kashiwagi Miles is one of my favorite artists. And someone else already snatched him. Her tone was slightly unhappy. Well, it's not over till it's over. I'm going to win Miles over. Hashima Iori smiled wryly again. I'm afraid that won't be easy. They're students at the same school, so they're naturally much closer. Moreover, it would be one thing if Nangong Yan were just a clueless rich kid, but you've seen what he's capable of. Our club probably isn't all that appealing to Kashiwagi Miles. Akane Benisaka couldn't help but agree with Iori's assessment. After a moment of thought, Akane Benisaka gave an order: keep a close watch on this new club. It could be a major player in the future. Yes. Benisaka Akane waved her hand, and Hamashima Iori left to carry out the order. Looks like Master Nangong has some pretty big ambitions. Maybe there'll be an opportunity for collaboration down the line, Benisaka Akane murmured, her eyes clouding over as she poured herself a glass of red wine. Chapter 86. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That evening after dinner, Nangong Yan addressed the girls. Since we're going public, we should probably register the club, right? Lily responded, just a quick online registration is fine. The important thing is the club logo. Nangong Yan nodded, let's get everyone's input on the logo then. Since it's called Different Dimension, shouldn't the logo reflect that? Shiyu suggested. Everyone agreed and began brainstorming. Something related to other dimensions. Black hole, Mashiro blurted out. Everyone paused, a little unsure. Nangong Yan, feeling slightly awkward, said, Mashiro, black holes are cool, but visually, they're just black balls, a little plain, don't you think? Mashiro considered this for a moment. Okay, I'll think about something else. If black holes aren't working, what about other astronomical phenomena? Nanami continued. Other astronomical phenomena feel a bit off, though. Lily mused, thinking about various options but still sensing something missing. How about a planet? A planet unlike Earth? Suggested Kato Megumi. This was exactly the idea Nangong Yan liked best. The girls seemed intrigued, as this definitely aligned with the different dimension theme. Nangong Yan glanced at the little cat, Yang, who was engrossed in playing with a penguin plushie. His eyes lit up. Does everyone like Huey's idea? Since nobody's objecting, he quickly added, how about I add something to it? What did you have in mind? Lily asked. How about a mascot? Nangong Yan looked at Yang. The girls followed his gaze and immediately understood his thinking. Their eyes sparkled. Everyone adored the little cat, so no one would say no. There's just one problem. Lily pointed out. We're all for it. We'd love to have Yang as the mascot on the logo, but how do we incorporate her? How could they combine a planet and a cat? That was the question. Nangong Yan held up 2 fingers. I have 2 ideas. First, Yang could stretch out a paw, and the planet could rest in her paw. The girls imagined it. Not bad. What was the second idea? Second, we could use Yang's current pose and just replace the stuffed animal with a planet. Everyone looked at Yang, who was lying on her back on the sofa, wrestling with her toy. Suddenly, Yang rolled over and sat up like a little person, her torso mostly hidden behind the penguin. Only her head, paws, and tail were visible as she clutched the plushie. It was an incredibly cute sight. That's it. *7. All 7 of them exclaimed excitedly. Nangong Yan grabbed his phone and snapped a picture. All they had to do was swap the toy for a planet. Wow! Perfect shot. Nangong Yan said gleefully, showing off the photo to the girls. They all adored Yang in that pose. But they were annoyed with Nangong Yan's smug expression. They all reached for their phones, but unfortunately, the little cat had shifted her position. Ha! Nangong Yan burst out laughing, earning glares from the girls. Okay, I'll send you the photo right now. Nangong Yan said, backing down. He'd pushed his luck enough. He admired the photo on his phone. He knew more than one person would set it as their wallpaper. Nangong Yan sighed contentedly. It's great having Yang around, that everyone agreed. Yang was adorable and well-behaved. Just seeing her made them feel good. Playing with her always lifted their spirits. And this time, she'd solved the logo issue. Yang had become an indispensable part of the Different Dimension Club. The group played with the little cat for a while longer before going their separate ways. After their study session, Nangong Yan watched Yang frolicking on the cat tree. He didn't interrupt her, simply returning to his room alone. Sitting at his computer, Nangong Yan opened the system interface. Character name, Nangong Yan, level, 59, 7253770/2400000. Title, Junior Cartoonist, Comic Attractiveness increased by 3%. Skill points, 64. Main task, increase sales of Mankey weekly. Mission objective, increase animation weekly sales within 1 week. Task status, completed. Mission reward, unlock life skill synthesis function. When 2 life skills of the same type are both LV9 or above, they can be merged into a higher level skill. Pet name, Yang. Level, 24. Whoa, what a change! Nangong Yan exclaimed. My experience is over 700,000 now. It's definitely going to take longer to level up from now on. Nangong Yan had thought he'd reach max level soon, but at this rate, hitting hundreds of millions of experience points was probably just around the corner. The title leveled up too. This title is actually an experience bonus. And Yang is level 24. I still don't know what that means. Nangong Yan wondered, maybe it slightly affects her physical strength, but knowing the Sims, it probably just makes them cuter, right? That he remembered that his cat was already cuter than Nana's cat, Xiao Ba, and her belly was so soft and comfortable to touch. Nangong Yan caught himself. This whole thing was based on the Sims. It didn't affect combat abilities or anything, but he didn't know if anything would change in the future. Finally, there was the most important reward. It's like the system knows exactly what I need. Nangong Yan thought. He needed better music for his game, and his current skills weren't enough. Time to investigate. Since it was a new function, Nangong Yan checked the system settings. Yep, there it is. The screen displayed 2 boxes, each with a drop-down menu above it. The menus listed his LV9 life skills. Nangong Yan felt a twinge of regret. It would be great if it could combine other skills too. No cooking skills. Nangong Yan noticed. Maybe because I don't have another related cooking skill. Does that mean my current cooking skill is the highest level? The lower levels would be stuff like pasta, pastries, and stir-fry dishes. Alright, time to synthesize. Chapter 87. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nangong Yan chose the guitar from the first box, and the bass instantly appeared in the second. Nangong Yan. Guess these are the only skills I can synthesize, huh? Maybe singing and voice acting too? Nah, not worth it. It costs 10 skill points every time. That's messed up. If I run out of skill points, I won't be able to synthesize anything. Still gotta do it, though. Nangong Yan gritted his teeth and went for it. No fancy effects. Nangong Yan just felt like he suddenly had a ton of new memories. Like, he could pick up any stringed instrument and instantly know how to play it. These 10 points were totally worth it. Nangong Yan was actually pumped, because the proficient in plucked string instruments LV9 skill just saved him a fortune. Even with instruments he'd never touched, like the guzheng and pipa, he somehow had the experience and knowledge to play them. Once I get the hang of drums, game music will be a piece of cake. Stoked, Nangong Yan finished drawing his comic for the day. bright and early the next morning, Ayano Ida dragged Nangong Yan out the door right after breakfast. No waiting till the afternoon to head to Otanajizuka Academy this time. Since everyone was free in the morning, might as well go now. Nangong Yan brought Yang along too. After his last little spoiler, he wasn't sure if Anoka and the others had reached out to the remaining members. The real reason for bringing Yang was Koizumi Hanyo. She's the shyest of the bunch, and she loves alpacas. Hanging out with the little guy might help her relax and not be so nervous. When Nangong Yan started asking questions, the little guy was hyped to be out with Nangong Yan. He was playing and interacting with him the whole time. Ayano watched them and smiled. She really got a kick out of seeing them together. You really love cats. Ayano chuckled. I like cats in general, but my little guy is my favorite. Nangong Yan replied, grinning. Have you ever thought about drawing a cat comic? He really couldn't help himself and was already thinking about how to turn this into comic material. Hearing this, Nangong Yan considered it. He couldn't just pull the cohabitant as a cat out of thin air, but drawing the little guy's daily life might be fun. What would that even look like? I'll think about it. Nangong Yan didn't commit. He really had to mull it over. Let me know if you decide to. Ayano was always eager for Nangong Yan's comics. Sure thing. The same 5 girls were there to greet them, just like last time. Even from a distance, Anoka started yelling, "Good morning, Hamura. Miss Ayano." Nangong Yan and Ayano smiled and waved, but didn't shout back. When they reached the group, Nangong Yan and Ayano said, "Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having us again." The girls were all, we're the ones imposing. Alright, enough with the formalities. Just talk normal. Nangong Yan cut them off. All this polite chatter was a waste of time. Kotori sighed. Hamura-kun is still the same as always. I can't stand all that small talk. It's so boring being polite all the time. Nangong Yan exclaimed. Exactly. I wish everyone would just chill out. Anoka totally agreed with Nangong Yan. Anoka, so, since we're not strangers anymore. Kotori, can we pet the cat? Umi. Nangong Yan. Seriously? That's what you were waiting for? Nangong Yan smiled and said, you'll have to ask the little guy. Hey little one, they want to say hi. Is there anyone you feel drawn to, like Megumi and Nanami? Yang shook his head. Meow. No, but I think there's someone inside. Nangong Yan was floored. The little guy had a sharp perception. Could it be Koizumi Hanyo? Nangong Yan set him on the ground and said, little one, can you take us there? Everyone looked confused, but the little guy nodded and started walking slowly towards the school. The girls were instantly amazed. They all heard what Nangong Yan said, so they were naturally surprised by Yang's reaction. Let's go. Nangong Yan led the way. The girls exchanged glances and followed. Hamura-kun, what's going on? Kotori asked. I asked the little one if he felt a connection with anyone here, and he said he did inside. Nanny? *6. Everyone, including Ayano, was shocked again. Last time, they were surprised when Yang understood Nangong Yan, but this time, Nangong Yan understood the cat. Hamura. You have that ability? Ayano was intrigued again. Was she already plotting a comic? Amazing. Hamura-kun is so talented. Not only are your comics awesome, but you can understand cats. Anoka's eyes sparkled. Nangong Yan chuckled. You don't believe me? Judging by the cat's reaction, there's no reason to doubt it. Huh. It was Ia's Eli who said that. Nangong Yan picked up on that and said, Ia-senpai, do you know anyone at school who might make Yang feel this way? Feel a connection. Is that the cat's name? Eli nodded, thought for a moment, and looked at Tojo Nozomi. Nozomi, what do you think? Someone the cat is drawn to? Tojo Nozomi thought for a moment, then smiled, "It must be our animal keeper, Koizumi-san." "Hanao-chan?" Anoka exclaimed. "She's at school. She didn't even come when I tried to convince her to pick up Hamura-kun." Umi explained, knowing Koizumi-san, "She's probably just shy, right?" "That's perfect." Nangong Yan smiled. "If Yang's here, maybe we can actually talk to her, right?" Nozomi gave him a surprised look. "Maybe. As the school's animal keeper, Koizumi-san loves small animals." Nangong Yan dryly said, "Can you really call those 2 alpacas small animals?" The 5 girls from Otanajizuka Academy looked a little embarrassed. Alpacas were definitely not small, and one of them was a jerk. "Hee, Yang is so cute." Kotori said dreamily, watching Yang take his little steps. Umi felt ashamed. Kotori seems to be obsessed with alpacas recently. "I think she just really likes all cute animals." "Almost there." Eli pointed out, the little one turned a corner, and everyone followed. Koizumi Hanao came into view. Chapter 88. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang was already by Koizumi Hanao's side, calling out to her. "Huh. A cute cat," she said, looking down. "Where'd you come from?" "Hello, Koizumi-san, this little kitty's family," Nangong Yan said. "Whoa!" Koizumi Hanao exclaimed, "Boy." She looked again, surprised. "Seniors, and..." She glanced at the group, confused by the 2 unfamiliar faces. "Hanao-chan. This is Teacher Nangong I was telling you about." Anoka grabbed Koizumi Hanao's hand. "Oh, Teacher Nangong," she murmured, looking at Anoka, a little embarrassed. Senior, my hand." "So, is Hanao-chan on duty today?" "Well. Taking care of the alpacas, right?" Anoka asked, looking at the alpacas. "Yes. Right. Keo-chan should be a school idol." Koizumi Hanao, overwhelmed, thought, "Someone, save me." "Anoka. Ease up." Umi stepped in, grabbing Anoka. But it's Hanao-chan. We gotta get along, right?" Anoka looked a little put out. "Hanao-chan is a shoo-in for Muse." Nangong Yan smiled, shaking his head. "Take it slow." Koizumi-san seemed shy and unsure of herself. "Don't rush her, Anoka." Nangong Yan knelt down, hugging Yang. "Xiaochuan-san, you seem a little nervous. Want to give Yang a hug? He likes you." Koizumi Hanao fidgeted, glancing at Yang and Nangong Yan. "Okay," she said, blushing slightly. "What do you say, little guy? You okay with this?" "Meow, yeah, this kid's alright." Yang agreed. What does that even feel like? Guess a human can't understand what a cat feels. Here, hold him. Nangong Yan handed Yang to Koizumi Hanao. "Ah." Koizumi Hanao nervously took Yang into her arms. "He's called Yang," Nangong Yan said. "Oh, Yang-chan's so cute. So soft." Koizumi Hanao rubbed her face against Yang's fur, smiling. "Ah, I'm so jealous." Anoka looked on enviously. Hanao-chan got Yang's approval. Hey. Kotori watched, dazed, making Umi's face fall. Most girls can't resist Yang's charm. Nangong Yan said. Ayano agreed. Yang is smart, cute, and sometimes cool. He's bound to attract attention, but you don't seem that attracted to Yang. Thinking it, he asked, "So, Ayano, how do you feel about Yang?" Ayano thought for a moment. "I like him, I guess. Just not that obsessed." Nangong Yan nodded. The girls in the family were definitely enthusiastic about Yang. Seeing the girls getting close to Yang, Nangong Yan said, "Xiaochuan-san, could you stick around? I wanted to ask about your school life." "Huh?" Koizumi Hanao, still holding Yang, was stunned. Is it about the comics? Nangong Yan gave her a thumbs up. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, right? Nangong Yan seemed to remember. Your comics are slated for bi-monthly publication. Since Mankey Bookstore doesn't do bi-monthly, they'll be serialized in weekly magazines every other issue. Wow! Really? Awesome! Anoka jumped up, excited. When's the first episode coming out? Student Council President Ari asked. Ayano smiled. Next week. The Otanagizuka Academy students got hyped. I've decided to give half the royalties for this comic to you guys, Nangong Yan continued, ignoring their surprise. Think of it as payment for using your likenesses. I won't give it to the school, this is to promote the school itself. Anoka exclaimed. Are you sure? We want to promote the school anyway. No need to pay us. Yeah, Yanjun, you don't have to do that. Kotori agreed with Anoka. Being the chairman's daughter, she felt that promoting the school was her duty. This is news to me. Hamura, when did you decide this? Ayano asked, confused. Nangong Yan explained, I've been thinking about it. You've agreed to let me use your likenesses, and that's great, but idol activities cost money, right? Consider this a sponsorship. But... Nangong Yan cut her off. Come on. Activity funds mean better idol activities, right? Flyers, stages, costumes, you need money. They started to protest, but Nangong Yan had an idea. Besides, I have my own reasons. We can help each other down the line, right? I help promote you, you help me, consider it a part-time job. You don't work for free, *a ready-made voice cast and musical act. Dubbing, singing, dancing, even house dancing, *. Nangong Yan got excited just thinking about it. Koizumi Hanayo looked confused. Why is he so excited? What just happened? Wasn't he asking about my daily life? How did we get here, star? I get it now. Hamura, I'm impressed again. Ayano said, realizing what Nangong Yan was thinking. What's going on? Someone explain. Anoka looked worried. Let me explain. Ayano told them. You don't think Hamura just draws comics, right? Everyone looked confused. Could it be? They sounded doubtful. That's right, and he's even better than that. Ayano praised him, making Nangong Yan blush. Ayano continued, just based on what I know, he can write game scripts, screenplays, do original art, and even voice acting. So, you should realize what Yen wants to do with you in the future. They imagined it, and then were shocked. Chapter 89. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So, in the future, if I have songs that are a good fit for you, you can sing and dance, even at home. Plus, with a little dubbing practice, you'll be all set, and I won't have to look elsewhere. Sounds like a win-win, right? Of course, it's early to say for sure. I'll definitely reach out once all your Muse members are together. Nangong Yan's statement silenced any objections. The worst they had to do was work harder to complete his tasks. Seeing their agreement, Nangong Yan nodded, secretly thinking, get in my car, the doors are welded shut, so don't even think about running. Then, noticing Koizumi Hanayo's overwhelmed expression, Nangong Yan said, let's get back on track and hear about Koizumi's daily life. I'm not really sure what to talk about. Nangong Yan thought for a moment. Like, your best friend? A classmate you care about? Things you're passionate about? Or even just memorable conversations and your feelings about things? Huayang was still uneasy. But, why? Why me? I'm not in Muse. Why did you come to me? Are you so sure I'll join? Just as Anoka was about to explain, Nangong Yan stopped her. Let me ask you something first, okay? Burying her face shyly, Huayang nodded. Do you like idols? Nangong Yan asked, gently guiding her. I do, she whispered, blushing slightly. Behind them, Anoka and the others were practically bursting with joy, barely holding back their cheers. Tojo Nozomi smiled too. Then you probably like idol comics, right? Nangong Yan didn't directly ask if she wanted to become an idol, not wanting to scare her off. You probably know about my manga through Anoka and the others, right? So, could I enrich the plot with some insights from you? Hua Yang nodded without thinking. Great, let's talk about Koizumi's daily life, just like I outlined a minute ago. Nangong Yan pulled out a pen and paper, ready to take notes. Everyone else was speechless. No problem, if you like comics, help out to make them better. The stunned Keo-san could only oblige, after an hour. Okay, thanks, Koizumi-san. Nangong Yan gathered the information he needed, not just from Koizumi Huayang, but from others as well. Nangong Yan stretched his neck and smiled when he saw Huayang trying to catch a bug. It's nothing, if I can help, Huayang said, much more comfortable talking to Nangong Yan now. Hamura, how are you feeling today? Up for drawing? Ayano asked. This drew everyone's attention. They were blown away by Nangong Yan's impromptu comic creation last time. No problem, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. As long as you can draw. Want to see? Nangong Yan asked, smiling. Xiaoniao, of course. Highway, more like, who wouldn't want to see? Anoka, you can show Hanyo-chan too. You were awesome last time. Since you're all so eager, let's go. Nangong Yan grabbed his tools. Yeah. The sophomore trio clapped happily, with Highway being a bit more reserved. The two third graders wanted to watch too, but they were more composed, with a bewildered Koizumi Hanyo and everyone else watching expectantly. Nangong Yan started sketching. Keo-san was stunned all over again. Soon after, Nangong Yan stopped. Okay, I probably won't be able to draw a whole chapter next week. Why? Xiaoniao asked, confused. Nangong Yan explained, because, whether it's comics or anime, major turning points and mini-climaxes usually happen in the third episode. So, I want you to tell me what plot you think would be best for me to draw in the third episode. The girls exchanged glances and then said in unison, first performance. Nangong Yan smiled. So, you understand what I'm getting at? With a determined nod, they understood that the third episode couldn't be drawn until after their first performance. So, you have to work hard. This isn't just a turning point for the comic, but a critical moment for you all. Have you been practicing your song lately? The dance is arranged for the three of you specifically. Adding someone new would mess up your formation and movements, which could be fatal to a brand new group. Even if you want Koizumi-san to join now, wait until after your first performance. First, see if you can impress Ie-senpai. Second, inviting other members to join Muse should wait until you've put on a show. Hearing this, Anoka temporarily gave up on recruiting Koizumi Hanyo. She hadn't thought that far ahead. Oni and Kotori would be more thoughtful in the future too. Seeing that he had made his point, Nangong Yan handed the manuscript to Huayang. Since it was her first time seeing this, Nangong Yan gave her priority. Koizumi Huayang took it numbly and was immediately surrounded by the others. Look, Hanyo-chan. Anoka urged. Ah. Oh. Huayang turned to the first page. Oh. It's just as awesome the second time around. Anoka exclaimed. Yeah, it's like we really became the characters in the comic. Highway agreed. But, we have become comic characters, right? Kotori asked, a little confused. Tojo Nozomi asked Eri quietly, Eri-chan, what do you think after seeing it a second time? Eri's expression was a little stiff, but she said, maybe this really can save the school. Grandma, I will definitely save our alma mater. Seeing her expression, Tojo Nozomi sensed something and took her hand. So awesome, so awesome. Huayang's eyes lit up, deeply moved by seeing the new comics drawn live. So that's what the seniors were thinking, and so that's how hard they've been training. The idea of becoming an idol arose again in Huayang. who has been yearning for idols since he was a child. She had also heard what Nangong Yan said just now, so even though she had pretty much made up her mind, she still decided to wait until Muse's first performance, and then she would definitely join them. Nangong Yan caught Hua Yang's expression and gesture to Tojo Nozomi and Kotori, who followed his gaze and saw Hana Yang's face. Tojo Nozomi smiled knowingly, and Kotori looked overjoyed. Because they all knew that Hanao Koizumi, with that look, was a goner, she was definitely going to join. Chapter 90. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Saying their goodbyes, Nangong Yan, Yang, and Ida Ayano left Otanajizuka Academy. Standing in front of Nangong's house, Nangong Yan asked, "Hey, Ayano, why don't you stick around for a bite to eat?" Ayano waved a hand. "Nah, gotta run. But seriously, don't forget to send me that manuscript this time, okay? No repeats of last time." Nangong Yan's lip twitched at her teasing. "Relax, no sweat this time. The first episode drops next week." Ayano was silent. He actually makes a solid point. How do I even argue with that, star? Don't worry your pretty little head, I'll send it over soon, Nangong Yan said, smiling at her speechless expression. Alright, see ya. With a revved-up engine, Ayano peeled away from Nangong's house. Nangong Yan sighed. You don't see girl drivers tearing off like that every day. After Ayano left, Nangong Yan's attention shifted, and he noticed something different. Huh. Looks like new folks moved into that old house across the street. Nangong Yan looked surprised at the moving van parked in front. He remembered that place being empty for at least 5 or 6 years, totally neglected. And now someone's actually moving in. Well, there are new neighbors, after all. Think we should go say hi, kiddo? Nangong Yan rubbed his chin, asking for Yang's opinion. Yang looked at him, puzzled. Huh? How do I explain this? Nangong Yan thought for a second. Little guy, when you're out roaming around, cats have their own turf, right? Yeah, my brothers and sisters and I landed in Sister Tiger's territory right off the bat. Okay, so now the house across the street's got a new owner. Think we should go meet them? Nangong Yan explained, putting it in terms Yang would understand. Are we gonna fight for territory? The little guy's eyes lit up, paws waving in the air. Nangong Yan just stared. Where did you even get that idea, star? We're not fighting, we're just gonna meet them, get to know them, chat. The little guy immediately lost interest. Oh. Then I'm not going. Nangong Yan was speechless. Play fighting isn't cutting it anymore, so now we want the real deal. He shook his head. I'm not going over right now anyway. I'll wait a bit. They're probably busy getting settled in. Flame Lord. What are you doing out here? Come on in. Kato Megumi poked her head out. We heard the car pull up and figured you were back, but what are you doing? Oh, hui, check it out. Nangong Yan pointed across the street. Looks like new neighbors moved in. I was just asking the little guy if she wanted to go say hello. Kato Megumi's expression turned a bit dark. Why are you asking Xiao Yang about that? Let's go inside and talk about it. The little guy's a riot. After Nangong Yan explained, the girls all looked surprised, then smiled at Yang. They all crowded around, petting her. Xiaoyang's thinking might make sense for cats, right? Shiyu sighed. Probably. Ing Lily nodded. But Xiaoyang's still too cute. Mashiro squatted in front of Yang, looking puzzled. Yang, wanna fight? Mashiro, even though we don't quite get Xiaoyang's thoughts, I don't think that's it, right? Nanami tried to explain, but couldn't quite articulate it. Maybe Yang's a little lonely, Nangong Yan guessed. She hasn't seen her brother in a week. Maybe she's getting a little restless. Everyone agreed with Nangong Yan's guess. It seemed pretty likely. I'd better ask Yang. Nangong Yan knelt down and stroked Yang's head. Little guy, do you miss your brother? Meow meow, I don't know, but I seem a little worried about the child. although he has always been very energetic. Okay, I got it. I'll take you to see him this afternoon. Giving her paw a squeeze, Nangong Yan decided on the afternoon's plan. You guys wanna come? Nangong Yan looked back at the girls. Shiyu raised an eyebrow. Where are we going? Guarding the young lady's house. Nangong Yan waved a hand. No way. Too many of us barging in would be weird. We're going to a pet shop. Sajiri looked a little anxious. Brother, will the pet shop be crowded? Not too crowded, but there are quite a few pets, Nangong Yan replied, thinking for a moment. Then I'll go with you, brother. Little lowly Sajiri was the first to sign up. I love pets too. Lily was second. Wanna go? Mashiro was third. Nangong Yan waved a hand. Then let's all go. The game's almost done anyway, no need to rush. Shiyu, Hui, and Chihai, who hadn't voiced their opinions, all nodded. Alright, we'll head out after lunch. Nangong Yan pulled out his phone. Hello. Nana, it's Nangong Yan. Could I trouble you with something? Yanjun, tell me, what's up? Guard Nana's voice was as gentle as always. Yang must be missing Xiaoba. Could you possibly bring Xiaoba to the pet shop this afternoon? Is that so? Yangchan misses Hachi. She seemed to think about it for a moment and gave an affirmative answer, no problem. Youwu is at home. I'll have him bring Xiaoba and Xiaolu to the store after lunch. I'm really sorry to trouble you, Nangong Yan said, feeling a bit embarrassed about involving both siblings. No, don't be so polite, Hamura-kun. It's Yangchan's wish, after all. She sounded a little embarrassed. My sister's thinking about my brother, but my Xiaoba always seems to be a little heartless. Nangong Yan didn't know what to say, so he just offered, he must be young, right? Probably not thinking too much about it. We just wanted to play when we were kids. Maybe. Okay, there are customers in the store. Yanjun, come on over in the afternoon. Alright, see ya. Bye-bye. Nangong Yan hung up, turned to the others, and said, all set. We can head over there in the afternoon. What's wrong? Why are you all looking at me like that? Nangong Yan asked, confused. When did Hamura-kun exchange contact information with Miss Mamoru? The external representative, Kasumigakaka Shiyu, stepped forward. Nangong Yan replied without hesitation, the time I bought Yang a toy. Yang's brother was there, after all. How could I not get his contact info? The immaculate external representative, Kasumigakaka Shiyu, completed her mission and returned to the group. Come on, Kei and Nanami, let's get cooking. Nangong Yan called out to the two of them. We'll hit the road after we eat. Kasumigakaka Shiyu and I really exchanged glances, and I really approached Yang. I didn't expect it, Xiaoyang. You were the one who got Yan acquainted with a beautiful woman. You, cute little guy. Reaching out and ruffling Yang's head, the little guy looked at Lily with a confused expression. Meow. What is this human even saying?